Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review, episode number 56. This one reviewing the 56th episode of Boruto, Naruto Next Generation's Rivals Gather. Yeah, this one is mostly put the first round of the tuning exam, and what they show at the first round, like you have in the film, that, the first actual round is just a true and false question, which is the same one from the movie, and they fall into the ink, and of course the teams do survive. Yeah, that is completely taken from the movie, mixed in with with the new characters from the series. Okay, fine. They do in fact show it's where you have the characters like sort of meeting the new characters, like meeting Shigidi, who is Gaara's son. You get a chance he uses his powers a couple times in the series. First to break up a fight between Baruto and some guy from the Hidden Stone Village. By the way, these guys were complete pointless because these guys were taken out before the first round could even begin. Yeah, these guys were completely pointless characters, and the Tazakagi, Kanuchi, she says she's going to retrain them. Yeah, put them back to training as soon as they get back to the Hidden Stone Village. Yeah, complete pointless characters. The hit and miss characters are actually quite interesting. They're a group of triplets, and they do show off their stuff, and they do survive the first round by using using the chakra in the feet to be on top of the ink, which interesting. Got praise them for that. In the case of the Hidden Sand Village trio, they use Shigidi's black sand cloak to float in the air. In some ways, Shigidi is probably kind of like a younger version of Gaara in some way, except Gaara never walked out with a coat made of black sand. Yeah, it looks like black sand. Now Baruto, a lot of the stuff with him, pretty much everything related to him, with the exception of the scene with him and the guy from Hidden Stone Village, mostly is exactly the same as the movie. Like he still gets his email from his father, like right after the first exam, and also this episode is noteworthy for the first appearance in this series of 1010, which means finally the entire Hidden League 12 is finally made an appearance in this series, and it's about time. And thank you, thank you, Anime, for allowing her to appear in the following episode. This episode, she didn't do very much. I mean, you see her watching the Genni during the first exam, and then she uses a summon jutsu to summon a giant army of dummies. Yep, just to have the Genni show off their skills to the training. Sasuke himself is mentioned in the episode, does not make a physical appearance. Aside from 1010, the only previous generation characters to physically appear in this episode are Naruto himself, who appears for like roughly one scene, like a pretty brief scene, like roughly a couple minutes, just in his office sitting down. Shikamaru, Sai, and Hinata show up in the episode. Hinata gets some new lines that she didn't have in the movie, like inviting Baruto to dinner. Yeah, this was never in the movie, and Himari gets a little bit to do. She and Hinata show up roughly twice the whole episode. The first time you see him was when Baruto goes off to his first day of the Chunin exam, so not the first day of the first exam. You see, in the original series, when they did the original first round exam, that took roughly 2 episodes. In Shippuden, for season 19, the flashback season, which took place prior to the first season of Naruto, basically, it takes place roughly about a few weeks before the events of the pilot episode. Yeah, the first round of shooting exams for that one was also 1 episode as well. The second round of the tuning exams for Naruto Shippuden season 19, that pretty much took up the entirety of the season. Kind of the same thing with the second round for the tuning exams for the original Naruto series. Yeah, that took up like half of a season. Do I think that the second round will take up as much as this one? My personal theory is that the second round of the tuning exams for this series, probably about 3 episodes, because the second round of the tuning exams, when you look at the preview for next week, it's going to be the same place in the movie, in this ruined city. But hopefully they give a little more explanation of what the city is, or at least where the city is. Hopefully they get more explanation for it, because in the film, you just randomly see it as the second round of the tuning exams. Here, I hope because they have the anime, they have a little more time to explain what this place is. It could be the place where Granny Cat lives. Who knows? Yeah. But mostly put, this was a great episode. I love the original footage. They use a lot of original footage this episode. Now, unlike in the last couple episodes where they use footage from the film while altering some scenes, this one doesn't use very much from the film. No, it's mostly just a couple scenes. Just the scene of the true false part of the first round of the exam. You have that. You have Shikamaru telling Boruto about, Boruto's success, and Boruto getting an email from his father. Yeah, those scenes, those brief little moments from this episode, yeah, they pulled directly from the movie with very little, like a little bit of alteration of dialogue here and there. Mostly put, it's the same as in the movie. But I would say about 90% of this episode was original footage, which gotta praise the episode for doing that, because after pretty much seeing stuff from the film while changing stuff here and there, this one had a lot of new stuff with it, which thank you, anime, for doing that. Also, it's the first episode of this arc where the villains do not make a physical appearance, surprisingly. They showed up in last week's episode. This week, they didn't. You don't see a brief scene of them, of what they're doing, because last time they were seen, they were orbiting the planet, and they took a portal basically to wherever they're going on Earth. And also in this episode, they do mention Gaara a couple times in this episode, and they say he's on his way, but you see Conqueror there, of course, his new makeup. And now it's great to see the Mazakage. First time we've seen this guy since the Hidden Mist arc, which ended, I think it was episode 33 was the last time we saw him. So it's been a good, 23 episodes since we've seen him. In the case of the Mazakage and the Razakage, we haven't seen these people watching anime. I have personally not seen these two people in 32 episodes. Yeah, not since the episode that came right after it was the episode just after the Sutter arc wrapped up. That was the last official time we saw these two characters. Along with Gaara. Well, Gaara did physically show up in the last episode. That was, of course, his first appearance in the series since, episode 23. That, of course, was 22 episodes since his last appearance. Though it's only one episode, but it was great to see Gaara. Well, basically, my favorite character from the previous generation. Yeah, favorite male character, anyways, who's not Naruto. This generation, my favorite male character so far, I could probably say it would be Dekai if, in fact, if they would develop him a little bit more. It seems like right after his first few episodes of him appearing, it just seemed like they didn't really want it. It seemed like the animators did not want to develop this character. Just look how interesting he is. He's an original character, and I love Iwambi. Iwambi is a great character too. I mean, I love the new characters they debut in this series who are not children of the previous generation. Like Dekai, Iwambi, Sasumori, Sasumori's two friends from, her on her team. Though, here's kind of the thing. Sasumori, I would say of the three big new characters that they introduced in this very series, Sasumori and Iwambi have gotten a very good amount of development over the course of the entire series. I would say that in the case of Iwambi, his last known physical development was the episode that focused on his team right after the events of the Byakuya gang arc. Yeah, Dekai hasn't had much development since the Ghost arc of the series, and I'm hoping maybe after this arc wraps up, sorry about that we actually get a chance to see more development of the original characters. I love the fact that characters like Shikadai, Shikadai got a good amount of development during the Byakuya, which I love the fact he got a chance to do that. Even though, yes, he's kind of a carbon copy of his father, but at least he's kind of his own character. Same thing with Boruto. And it seems like when it comes to Iwambi, I don't know if anybody has noticed this, they give him traits of Naruto. Frequent repeater, Agani, Naruto's so Agani. Yeah, he's kind of like Naruto in a way, except Naruto never carried around a giant staff everywhere with him. Yeah, the only weapons he ever carried were kunai and shuriken. and smoke bombs, basically traditional ninja tools. That's basically what he carried on with him. He never carried on a sword like Sasuke does, or a giant scroll like Ten does. He did. He never really carried around anything that wasn't traditional, that wasn't standard ninja equipment. But yeah, this overall was a great episode, and we did get a chance to see a little bit of development for. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I would say that of the new characters who got, well, Boruto got this. He got the same level of development he got in the movie, so not much has changed there. Misuke and Sadara got no development in this episode. I would say the only character who got a good amount of development, or at least a lot of exposure, is Gaara's son. Yeah, even though he didn't do very much, but it's great the fact he got a little bit of development. I would say probably the only character got development is probably Wombi and Dekai. Yeah, that's really it. So Sumori didn't give any lines in this episode. Though the only thing noteworthy she did is that, well, her team took on a group of dummies and surviving the, well, ink thing by using Nin's news, like kind of like his power to hold him up, which is great. The fact that they did it. Now, now in the case of the teams who go move on to the next round, Team Konohamaru, Team Mogi, no surprise there because that same thing happened in the movie. In the case of, well, Team Udon, this was not exactly really big surprise, but a little bit because, well, we kind of already knew in the movie that Metal Lee goes on to the final round. So seeing his team survive, that was great. Though the obvious question is, where was his team during the original tuning exam in the film? Though one theory is that these two already went through the tuning exam already. Though my guess is because the anime changed stuff when it comes to Metal Lee having a team being on. That's probably the reason why they decided to throw these two characters in. Though Iwambi was the one who saved his team using his Earth Jutsu by forming like three little like rock cliff things, cliff rocks for his team to stand on while everybody else just falls in. Shikadai uses Shabarasa's Jutsu. Team Konohamaru was quite ingenious with how they survived this. Mitsuke used his arm to hold up the top of the hole. Sadara basically uses her like kunai with, I'd say, string. I'd say rope, and have Boruto catch it, and that's how that team survives. I gotta say that's pretty ingenious. Even though yes, that's the same thing in the movie, but it's a pretty ingenious way of using teamwork. Now, in the case of, well, how did Susumori's team survive? Using his power. That's how they survive. Yeah, that's really when it comes to characters. Yeah, and showing off their training, which was really good. The fact that I think it's no surprise that Hidden Leaf ninjas probably have the best training out of all these kids because the Hidden Stone, wow, so much. Let's say it seems like this episode is hyping up this team, and then they trip. Yes, they trip while doing a jutsu. Oh, they trip over a root branch. Yeah, so I kind of make the question, okay, you introduce these characters, and then they trip. Yeah, it's really bizarre. Also, I got to point out though, the three actually wasn't these three guys from Hidden Stone. It was the people from the Hidden Cloud Village that were hyping up, and they didn't. You don't see these guys do pretty much anything. The leader of the group, excuse me, who chews bubblegum. I think him and his group basically chew bubblegum. That's really their jutsu. Now, the leader of the group, he has a necklace around him which has the eight-tailed beast face on it. My guess has become I would say he's become sort of a merchandise thing in the Hidden Cloud Village. But in the case of Fourth Ninja War, of what's happened since the war ended, the Hidden Cloud Village, nobody knows anything what happened to the village afterwards. As far as we know, it's still around, and a retired handed off to the current Razakage. That's all we know what happened. It's kind of the same thing with Hidden Stone Village. Nothing really much was revealed during a time skip. Sand, we got a chance to learn what happened like during the time skip, thanks to the Garnet Light novel. Hidden Leaf, thanks to all the light novels they released based on all the characters like Kakashi, Shikamaru, Sasuke, the Hidden Leaf story, which featured Naruto and Naruto's wedding, and the Sasuke story. Yeah, and of course the Akatsuki. But at least the Hidden Leaf and the Hidden Sand Village, you got a chance to figure out what happened with their villages. But in the case of Hidden Mist, we got a chance to learn a little bit what happened to them after the last war during the Hidden Mist arc. So we kind of reveal what happened with them. But the Hidden Cloud Village and Hidden Stone, nothing aside from the fact they exist and their leaders changed. That was basically it. I'm like, couldn't you at least reveal exactly was the village receiving development? Something. The Hidden Cloud Village has not made a physical appearance in the series. At least the Hidden Mist Village has. And so has the Hidden Sand. But Stone has not been seen in the series at all. As a matter of fact, I don't think the Stone Village even made a physical appearance in Shippuden at all. I think the Tazakage Mansion briefly appeared. But as for, well, the village itself, nope. Hidden Cloud Village, yes it did. In the case of this series, the Hidden Cloud Village is referenced several times through the course of the series, but in the case of what happened with the village after 14 Ninja War, nothing since been revealed of it. Yeah, that's basically what it is. But I kind of wish we got a little more information what happened to these two villages after the 14 Ninja War, aside from the fact they're still around and they changed leaders. Yep. Also, one person I thought would be really interesting if she was at this particular thing, though there's this woman with red hair and a mask. I'm not sure who this woman is. I saw her in last week's trailer stuff for this episode. I have no idea who this woman is. I highly doubt it's the previous Mizukage because, well, she's a little bit shorter. She's about the same height as Chotru, and she could be May's daughter. She could be it. I have no idea because there's nothing about this character. It could be her, but I have no idea. But yeah, that's really it for this episode. Stay tuned for my review of Attack on Titan, which I'm talking about the newest OVA that came out last month, and I'll talk about the newest chapter of the manga. But that'll be first of two videos because apparently another chapter got released today, chapter 105, which I was surprised that there was a 105. I'll talk about that later on. So, two videos, Attack on Titan. One is going to be a regular part of the thing, but first time I've done in months. And another special, which will probably be probably the fourth special for Attack on Titan. Alright, so until I see you in the next video, bye.